Welcome back. Former AU Commission Chairperson Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma said the victory of Adwa holds immense significance, placing a substantial responsibility on Ethiopia. Zuma emphasized that Ethiopia must uphold the legacy of Adwa and continue to lead Africa in development, security, and other crucial aspects. Also a long-standing member of the African National Congress, ANC, Zuma underscored Ethiopia's pivotal role in shaping the continent's trajectory, calling upon the nation to carry forward its historical leadership role in advancing the interest of Africa as a whole. Goshu Melissa has more from the Ethiopian News Agency.
In 1896, Ethiopian forces led by Emperor Minilik II achieved a landslide victory against Italian invaders in the town of Adwa. This decisive triumph not only thwarted European colonial ambition but also became a symbol of African resistance and unity against imperialism. Talking to Ethiopian News Agency, former AU Commission Chairperson Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma said the victory of Adwa holds immense significance, placing a substantial responsibility on Ethiopia. She pointed out that the victory of Adwa is a sense of pride for Africans and black people around the world.
Adwa for us gives us a sense of pride that as Africans we were able to stand our ground, and Ethiopia was never colonized, and we're proud of that as Africans, and probably that's why the capital is here. But also it puts a big responsibility on Ethiopia to ensure that the legacy of Adwa is kept, that Ethiopia is always amongst the lead countries for the development, for the security, for everything of Africa, because we look up to them. So we're very proud. When you celebrate, we celebrate. It's African legacy.
Dlamini Zuma underscored that the forebears of Africa had understood the value of unity, calling upon African nations to enhance solidarity and unity.
Our forebears understood that individually we are very weak and we cannot take the continent forward, but together we are very strong. And if we stick together and understand that an African in any part of the continent is your brother, is your sister, then we will go forward. Pan-Africanism is very important.
The former AU Commission Chairperson further stressed that African countries should teach African history properly in every school in order to strengthen Pan-Africanism.
I think in our schools we should teach African history. Many places don't teach, including my own, proper African history. We still go with the history of the colonizer. We must teach our own history. One, if we teach our own history, we will understand that we were a great continent, we were great people before the colonizers came. So we mustn't define ourselves around colonization. We must define we had big kingdoms, very successful kingdoms. So we must be proud of who we are and then teach our children, because if you don't have heroes of your own, how are you going to be proud of yourself? How are you going to take the continent forward? You must be proud of who you are, but you can only be proud of who you are if you know your history.
The 128th anniversary of Adwa victory was celebrated colorfully on March 2, 2024 at the newly built Memorial Museum in Addis Ababa with various assortments.
And finally, an international political economic analyst says Ethiopians should renew the spirit of Adwa to build a strong nation for the current and future generations. On March 2nd, last Saturday, Ethiopians marked the 128th anniversary of the victory of Adwa, which is considered a symbol of African resistance against colonialism. The remarks were made by Lawrence Freeman during an interview with the Ethiopian News Agency. Jerusalem Betsaha takes us through the remainder of the interview.
In an exclusive interview with Ethiopian news agency, the American political economic analyst said the victory of Adwa shocked the very foundations of European imperialism and almost brought them into a downfall.
This became something that all Africans and in the United States, African Americans basically rallied around. And this became the basis of, was part of the movement for the liberation of African nations in the 60s and 70s, 1960s and 1970s. And is still today remembered and understood as an absolute unique event of effective resistance by an African nation and an African people.
The victory was a result of a unified country where Ethiopians had to put aside their differences and conduct a battle to defeat the Italian imperialists on March 1, 1896, he added. According to him, various sections of Ethiopian society united to defeat an enemy and guarantee their freedom, and the event has helped shape the Ethiopian mindset in the 20th and 21st centuries.
What we saw in Adwa is people had to give up their grievances with each other, and they had to unite to defeat an external enemy. And what I'm suggesting today is that we do the same thing. We unite Ethiopians in the spirit of Adwa against an internal enemy. And we seek to work together to build a strong future for Ethiopia, which would be the best way to guarantee a strong future for their children and their grandchildren.
Freeman also praised Ethiopia for inaugurating the newly built Adwa Victory Memorial this month in order to commemorate the nation's heroes and heroines. What happened in 1896 at Adwa still affects the Ethiopian mindset today, as the people are grow up with Adwa inspiration and heroism, he added. Therefore, the children of Ethiopia can be told the stories of how the country defeated the imperialists, which no other country did in the whole continent, Freeman said.
Now, we should use the memorial to reinforce and re-educate and revisit this historic battle. And again, I would suggest that we use the memorial to reinforce, again, the identity and the sacrifices that everybody made for the sake of their nation, and that we should use that to reassert that commitment to the nation again today. And let's use the memorial to enrich that process.
Moreover, the political economic analyst stated that Ethiopia's potential for economic growth is virtually boundless, and the country is already a leading nation in East Africa. In this case, Ethiopia has demonstrated its commitment to regional integration through the export of electricity and will continue it from the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam to its neighboring nations, he elaborated. Ethiopia has also become one of the African nations to join the BRICS. This itself is another form of leadership for Africa, according to Freeman. The American analyst believes that Ethiopia's membership will increase the potential of more economic growth in the East African region.
This is ABC World, a reminder of the top stories. PM Abiy engages with representatives from several regions. And former AU chairperson calls on Ethiopia to lead Africa and uphold Adwa's legacy. That's all we had for now. I'm Tabitha John. Many thanks for watching. Have a good time and do take care.